an exclusive look at a limited edition Mini Cooper that's coming to India. The very latest on display at the Paris Motor Show. Hyundai Santro finally breaks cover. We have so many details to share. Welcome to a brand new edition of the Car and Bike Show here on the NDTV network. I am Siddharth Vinayak Parthankar. Thank you for joining us, and I said edition very specifically because of course I have a limited edition of the Mini Cooper S here with me. What is it? Well, besides looking gorgeous, it's got lots of special things going on. I'll talk a little bit about that through the show, but first up we're going to talk about another small car at the other end of the price spectrum. This is something we've been waiting for quite some time now, and there's been so much anticipation building up to it. It is the new Hyundai Santro. It's ready to roll. We've got a nice chance to look at it. We can't show you too much of it yet because a lot of that is still under embargo, but we do have impressions we want to share with you. All-new Hyundai Santro, yes, it's here. That's not it. That's just the body in white behind me. But we have driven it, we have sat in it, we have looked at it, we have touched it, and we can tell you all about it. By we, I of course mean me and Cyrus Dabur, who has now gingerly stepped into him. Cyrus, of course, one of the most important launches of the year. Yes. We've been saying this for the longest time. And first impressions, go. Like first words that come to your mind when you see the car.
Spacious. And a bit of an evolution. It still has a tall boy design without being very obviously tall boy. I think that's a
for me it's not tall boy enough.
Otherwise really well loaded in terms of features.
So it's a Hyundai. You were expecting that and you're going to get that. There's going to be the sports variant that's going to be fairly well loaded, and then there's going to be the Astra variant that's going to be very well loaded. The part that can offer a thorn in my side, it's only the Astra variant that will get the dual airbags, though ABS and the driver side airbag is going to be standard across all variants, and of course that means that it will meet all the safety norms that are coming. That also includes the alerts both for speed as well as driver side seatbelt warning. So we would like to see a passenger side
which is an audible warning. It's not just a little red light, it's an audible warning, and of course passenger side will have to be mandatory eventually, so that will come in.
Now both of us sat in the car and both of us were in the car at the same time, so we had a fairly good sense of how it would perform with people inside the car. Of course it wasn't 4 or 5 people, but we also had a chance to sit at the back. I think the back seat is the revelation.
Yeah, I mean even with my dimensions,
petite.
there's enough space, both in terms of headroom and legroom. There's enough space there because we had the seat set to my seating position in the front and your seating position in the front. I think that was always nice, and of course you had enough shoulder room
and
also to wiggle about it.
Yeah, you get a good sense.
It is a wide, sort of nice wide car because again it's the one we drove and sat in. Has the beige interior, and again we did check the black interior version of. So we've done both. Although the black interiors will be available only on one variant.
Black interior variant.
Black interior variant. So
that's
on the green, which is on the green.
Diana green
body with a black interior with green accent pieces. So green seat belts.
Yeah,
almost GT3 RS like green
nice,
seat belts.
Bright green.
And green little accents and details, which are quite
AC
cool.
vans, volume control, gear shift.
And it's nicely done. It's not tacky.
Alright, so manual transmission of course was always expected. The AMT from the start is going to be the first AMT from Hyundai. It's also an in-house development on that AMT, which is unlike everybody else who's always gone to an outside vendor. The Epsilon 1.1 engine is a derivative of the previous Epsilon, but of course it's been completely reworked and retuned, and claimed mileage on the manual is 20.3 kilometers per litre.
And CNG is standard from the factory from the get-go too, which is a great thing because there are a lot of people who do want the CNG option.
For individual buyers too, not just
individual and fleet market. Yes. Yeah, and it's good that they're also sort of targeting the fleet market because the fleet guy also wants a new car, so why not?
Hyundai claims much improved noise, vibration, harshness levels in terms of bringing it down obviously, and that's been achieved by not only padding up the engine bay so that a lot of the engine noise doesn't creep into the cabin, but you've also got a lot of sound dampening that's been done on the floorboard to keep road noise from coming in. I have to say we got a very short drive today, so it's not a full assessment, but first impression, yeah, it does hold up on that claim. There's also improved stiffness because of a new shell. That's the shell you can see behind me. It uses 63% high strength steel, so it gives us a good sense on how it would be on crash performance, though we don't have actual numbers or actual results to share with you.
Actually, 63% of advanced high strength and high strength steel combined. So yeah, so advanced high strength is a slightly better sort of compound of steel or whatever. But slowly, slightly going back to the engine part of it, 68 horsepower, 99 Newton meters of torque. The CNG is 58 horsepower instead of 68. Because again the same 99 Newton meters of torque. But I think overall the engine felt it could have been a little more powerful maybe at the low end, but when you do get to drivability,
or you could have had a higher mileage number.
Yes.
Or that kind of reluctance at the start.
Yeah, but I think in terms of overall drivability, it's not that bad. It's quite nice actually. In-gear performance was quite nice.
So he mentioned the one big USP in our view, which is going to be interior space and a sensor space. The second big USP for us, the ride quality. You're going to find that the car is very comfortable, even on longer drives, even if you're chauffeur driven. And the bit that you really want to know, both those variants I mentioned, Sports and Asta, we don't know what's going to be below that, probably 3 variants below that, but that's not confirmed. But 7-inch touchscreen on both those variants are standard.
With Android Auto, with
mirroring,
navigation,
voice commands.
Yeah, all of that.
So yeah, we get the little gadgets that you were definitely looking for. Pricing, I think that's the last point before we completely bore you to death. Expect very aggressive pricing, and an interesting announcement from Hyundai's MD here saying that the first 50,000 bookings will be price protected. They tried that with the Verna. It was something that happened, of course, more because of government policy change. In this case, they're saying that that introductory price that's always announced at every launch, well, it will only be applicable to the first 50,000, and there will be a guaranteed price increase after that. Let's see how many bookings Hyundai manages, right? Because they might then be generous and increase that 50,000 to
maybe 1 lakh or whatever.
I was going to say 60,000, but okay.
In terms of bookings though, they're only going to be online starting tomorrow to the 22nd.
As we told you first.
As we told you first, yes. We have a little link somewhere on the top here. And it's 11,100 rupees for the booking amount, and as you mentioned, introductory pricing for the first 50,000.
So the launch is on the 23rd. We will of course be there. We will be bringing you every update, including all the prices of all the variants and all the variants themselves, what they'll be named, how many there are, and the difference in terms of all the features for each of those variants. The number of colors, we've already seen white, we've seen gold, which is the positioning color.
There's
silver, dark gray,
red, dark gray, and green. That's 8.
So
8?
I lost count.
A lot of colors.
Yeah, lots of colors, and maybe there's a color we didn't see that wasn't on view for us today.
No, there's a red. That's the one that leaked out too.
Yeah, the red. So there you have it. That's our first impression on the all-new Santro. You have to react to it and tell us what you think. And remember, there's a reason why we're saying this is such a big deal. It's also the comeback of a very important brand to our market. Also a car that set many benchmarks. Now the question is, will the new car set those benchmarks? So this gorgeous little orange number, or Solaris orange number next to me, is that limited edition of the Mini Cooper S. This is the 3-door, and besides that color, you get plenty more that's very special, and it's limited, like I said, to some very restricted few people who will get their hands on it. And you can only buy it online on Amazon, and that will kick off sometime next week, so you have to wait for that. Prices will be attractive is what we've been promised. The actual price, I'm not going to give it away just yet. You again need to find out what that is when the car actually launches. Now, you will also have the option of a reverse color version, which is black with all the orange accents. That, of course, is something, again, that you will be able to look at only online, but I have to say, I would be biased towards the more orange, less black version. It looks very cool, especially with all the piano black accents that you see all across the car. More details on this, of course, is something you'll also get from us in a very detailed review that Cyrus is going to be doing. You'll get that online next week as well. So, something to look forward to. The Paris Motor Show just concluded as far as the press part of it is concerned, and there was plenty there, as there always is. Now remember, the show happens once every 2 years. French pride on display, but besides that, pretty much huge showings from every other manufacturer too. All the big highlights now from Paris 2018.
It is that time of the year when the festive season is underway, and there are a whole lot of things happening in the world of automobiles in India and globally. This year we had the opportunity to check out the 2018 edition of the Paris Motor Show and sample some of the cars that will be making their way to India soon, and some which were just too awesome to be left out. So without further ado, let's dive right in
One of the most important car launches at the 2018 Paris Motor Show, keeping the Indian car market in mind, is the new generation BMW 3 Series. One of the highest selling BMW models globally, the 7th generation 3 Series gets a whole lot of upgrades to the features, design, looks and engine options as well. The good news is this car will be launched in India sometime in early 2019.
BMW has sold over 15 million units of the 3 Series till date. It is built on the all-new platform called the CLAR and weighs 55 kilos less than the previous model. There will be a 2-litre twin-turbo and a 3-litre inline-6 petrol engine along with a 2-litre and 3-litre diesel engine option as well. The interior has been completely spruced up along with a more modern-looking dashboard.
The new generation Audi Q3 also made its public debut at the 2018 Paris Motor Show. Now looking at this car, it gets much more sharper styling, making the SUV look much more contemporary, and also it's grown bigger in size than the previous generation model. There will be 4 engine options to choose from, and we believe that Audi will launch the new generation Q3 in India sometime in the second half of 2019.
The new Q3 is built on a VW Group platform and has 3 petrol and 1 diesel engine options to choose from, with power output ranging from 150 horsepower to 230. It was the Germans who took over Paris once again with their new car launches. After BMW and Audi, it was Mercedes-Benz who took the wraps off their new generation B-Class. Brand new design language, sexier lines ooze of elegance, and make it look much better than the previous generation model. The new B-Class now has a whole new cabin and a new dashboard, a new infotainment cluster and a new instrument cluster, both all digital along with new upholstery as well. Under the bonnet, the Mercedes-Benz B-Class will be powered by a range of petrol and diesel engines with an all-electric version and a hybrid version which will be introduced soon. When you think of SUVs, speed is probably the last thing on your mind, but the Skoda Kodiaq RS begs to differ. It is, after all, the fastest 7-seater SUV to lap the Nürburgring. The Skoda Kodiaq RS is a 2-litre twin-turbo diesel engine which makes 235 horsepower and 500 Nm of peak torque. 0 to 100 is taken care of in just 7 seconds with a top speed of 220 km per hour. Impressive numbers for a 7-seater SUV. Going electric is the way forward. In keeping this philosophy in mind, Renault showed the KZE Kwid, which essentially is a fully electric version on the standard Renault Kwid available in India. Renault built the KZE concept keeping in mind the booming electric car market in China. The production version will be manufactured in China by the EGT New Energy Automotive Corporation, a joint venture between the Dongfeng Group and Renault-Nissan Alliance. It will have a range of about 250 km on a single charge, but the electric motor specifications haven't been disclosed just yet.
Suzuki revealed the Jimny in a new avatar globally a few months ago. The pint-sized off-roader retains its boxy silhouette and old-school charm, and while it's still unclear whether Suzuki will bring this car to India or not, we would definitely love to see the Jimny strut its stuff on Indian roads.
The Jimny gets 2 petrol engines, a 658cc and a 1.5-litre unit along with standard all-wheel drive. One has the option to choose from either a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed automatic gearbox. We really wish it comes to India sooner than later. Peugeot says that electric cars of the future don't have to be boring. They can be downright sexy and equally practical. Well, looking at the E-Legend concept, we sure do agree with Peugeot. It is a fully electric sports car that's been inspired by the 50-year-old Peugeot 504 Coupe. There are two electric motors in play, one for each axle, and they have a combined output of 462 horsepower and 800 Newton meters of torque. 0 to 100 is done in just 4 seconds, and the car has a top speed of about 220 kilometers per hour. A 100 kilowatt-hour battery offers a range of about 600 kilometers. Sure, the car is only a concept, but how we wish we see this go into production. One of the eye candies at the Paris Motor Show was the Porsche Speedster concept based on the 911 Carrera 4 Cabriolet. With the chassis carried over from the 911 GT3, lots of carbon fiber has been used to keep the weight in check, and interested customers will have loads of customization options to choose from. Porsche will only manufacture 1,948 units of the Speedster concept, and most of them have already been spoken for. Under the hood is a flat 6 engine that makes about 500 horsepower and revs all the way to 9,000 RPM.
What you see behind me are the Ferrari Monza SP1 and the SP2. Part of a new car series from Ferrari called the Icona, the Monza Speedsters are what you would call the epitome of automotive art. Total cargasm. Well, I'll not bore you with the details and let you look at the cars instead. Totally gorgeous, jaw-dropping stuff.
Every once in a while there comes a car which makes you go weak in the knees and makes you swoon. Modern yet flowing, the graceful lines of this car pay homage to Ferrari's racing Barchettas of the 50s. Both cars have the company's most powerful iteration of the V12 engine with 789 horsepower on tap and 714 Newton meters, and have a top speed of well over 300 kilometers per hour. They will also cost upwards of £3 million each. Both the SP1 and the SP2 are road legal, and the bodywork is completely made out of carbon fiber. A total of 499 units will be manufactured. All the bifurcation between the SP1 and the SP2 is yet to be finalized.
So that's the latest from Paris, and you got another nice little exclusive from us in the form of this Oxford edition of the Mini Cooper S. Remember, there are very few that will be made, and it's got a little something extra that you can't get from Mini India. So what is that? You've got to, of course, like I said, look at our review online and you'll find out. And of course, we'll also bring it to you on one of our shows. But definitely tune in for that, and we'll have the exclusive review for you as well. And this is built on the new facelifted version of the Cooper S, which arrived in May this year, which means, of course, you get the Union Jack tail lights. That's probably my favorite feature on the car now. Can't get enough of that. On that note, it's going to be goodbye. Please wear your seatbelts, wear your helmets if you're on a bike, and join us next week. Bye-bye.